What's up, everybody? I hope your New Year's is going good. I know I've definitely been looking down and doing, the things I'm supposed to be doing in the new year, and I'm sure you guys are too. And you know what you guys been doing in the new year? Tagging me in lots of dental videos that I gotta react to. So, we might as well just spare no time and get right into it. Okay, let's go ahead and start.
Damn, this tough. I'm finna get them, boy.
That's what we got the Amazon from.
What are those? No, seriously, this guy seems like a really nice guy, so I don't even want to say anything bad here because, really it's not as bad as it looks, but it looks pretty bad, and you guys are tagging me on what the heck is going on here. We've got veneers obviously in the title, so I'm assuming this man, this nice, gentle, kind man has gotten veneers here. And so obviously we're gonna address the elephant in the room, which is, why are his gums white? Now, I first thought that maybe this guy had lost all of his teeth and he got what's called a denture. And the denture, sometimes you can change the color of the gum tissue, and sometimes if you just buy some cheapo depot ones, they end up, they're not the same color as your gum tissues, and they look a little weird, kind of like this. But the tip off for me was that it said veneers. And so now I'm immediately saying, okay, I know what's going on here. This guy got veneers, and to do that, they have to polish things down and do all that. So what do? They give you numbing agent. And that epinephrine and that lidocaine, that numbing agent that they put in their mouth and, giving you all the shots and stuff like that, it causes the blood flow to completely go out of the gums sometimes. And so what you get is this really white, blanched looking gum tissue that looks really gnarly. So my guess is he literally just came out of the dental office, just got his veneers done, and so what you're seeing is this crazy whiteness over there. Now you can see he kind of has a lot of gum overgrowth here on the side because his white, the gum tissue goes all the way over those teeth, and I can't really tell much from here. I can't tell really if they're bad, good. It does look like he definitely got them white Johns, you know what I'm saying? He got the really bleach white toilet bowl looking ones, which can look a little uncanny, but maybe it doesn't look as bad as it looks too, just because the gum tissue looks unnatural. Maybe my boy's just getting a bad rap and everything actually looks a lot better than you think. Let's go ahead and see what the people in the comments have to say. I don't even know if I want to go there on this one. Someone says, stop, he looks so sweet. I'm not gonna lie, he looked like a really nice guy. That's why I'm saying it's probably not as bad as we all think here. Someone said, immediately looked up white gums meaning, shaking my head. Yes, it's probably just from the epinephrine causing that blood to go out of the area. It will come back and he will have normal stuff there in the future. And somebody said, that's sad, who did that to him? And another person said, whoever did that to them is so wrong and evil. And like I was saying, I can't really tell if it's really bad yet. I'm trying to zoom in, and they definitely do look kind of crazy white. So I don't know who he went to or what his option was. I have no idea what's going on with this gum tissue thing over there. Maybe he's got gum overgrowth or something's weird going on. There's definitely something not natural about what's going on, but maybe it's better than it seems. I don't know. I'm trying to look at the brighter side of things. I'm trying to be positive here because my man does look like a nice guy. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. What do you guys think in the comments down below? I don't even know if I want to know what you guys have to think, to be honest. But still, I'm wishing for the best.
I shaved down my bite blockers.
Yeah.
Which are those blue things in the back. But now, when I bite, my teeth do hit my braces. And do I need jaw surgery? Because I think my jaw should be shifted, like that, not like that. And I don't think braces is going to solve that problem.
Okay, so we got a lot to go over here. But first off, the thing about bite blockers, it's actually really important. If you ever go into braces, you need to know this. So those are those little blue things on the back of your teeth. Now, I actually absolutely hate those bite blockers on the back. And if your orthodontist is putting them on there, I would highly recommend to ask, can you please place them on the front? And it's for this exact reason. You see, you have to lift up the bite sometimes, because if you have your deep bite there in the front and you have some braces here, you're gonna bite down and you're gonna hit those brackets. And so what they do is they lift you up by putting these little mounds of glue on either the back of the front teeth or the back of the back teeth, like she has it. The problem is if you put them in the back teeth, when you bite down, it's gonna cause these teeth to go apart and actually make your bite deeper over time. And so when they go to take them off, guess what? Your bite is still deep. It didn't fix any of the things, and now she's hitting on those front teeth, which is gonna damage the enamel and chip off some of these things if she continues to hit on them. Now, conversely, if your orthodontist is smart, they will use what's called anterior bite blocks. This is what we use. They go on the back of the front two teeth. And now what happens is when you bite on those front teeth, you can't hit anything, but the pressure is now pushing these front teeth away from each other, actually fixing your deep bite. So when your back teeth touch, now you can take them off and everything is perfect. And unfortunately, a lot of orthodontists still use these posterior back bite blocks, which just cause a bunch of issues, to be honest. I don't know why people still use them, to be honest. The front ones are undefeated completely. Now, I can understand if you have such a big override, you're like way out there like this, they can't reach, and so yeah, sometimes you do have to put them on the back, but for her, it doesn't make sense. You didn't need that. Definitely, she still needs them on the front, and she probably needs to get rid of that deep bite. Now, the other thing was her jaw. Now you look at it at the very end, that thing is crooked sideways, and she is very right. You know, they will use rubber bands to kind of twist and move the jaw, because sometimes people can be biting like this, and we just have to kind of pull and get that jaw aligned. But my guess is she does have a little bit of cant and a little bit of issues there. And if it's skeletal, meaning the teeth are all fitting good and the jaw is not fitting good, well, that means she's gonna have to have jaw surgery to get that all fixed up. So she'll probably have to have a double jaw surgery and correct that and all that stuff. Sometimes they can do some stuff with the chin and things like that, and maybe she gets a little bit with the rubber bands. But yeah, no, unfortunately your braces are not gonna fix that. That's why we would work with an oral surgeon to fix that one. Now that being said, somebody via here says, as someone with a cross jaw, I only got braces to fix my jaw and my teeth were fine. Like I said, sometimes people's bites are just weird because they're shifting their jaw around. And sometimes when you get their jaw and the teeth in the right spots, guess what? It goes back to normal and their jaw looks fine. Now in her case, I've done this quite a bit. Her teeth look pretty straight and together already. And so if you have that much of a turn with a good teeth bite going on, it's probably skeletal and you're probably gonna need a surgery. But then again, when I'm looking at it at the very start here, when she's looking at it, it doesn't look as bad. So, I mean, it just depends. Their orthodontist will let them know. And definitely if she's getting her braces off and her chin's still crooked at a 45-degree angle, I think she knows she's gonna need surgery. Marlin broke his tooth? No way. Oh. Well, you know what? I just have to say thank you to the refs for finally trying to equal the playing field there, because let's be honest, Marlin is kind of goated in the looks department, and you know, we need to make him more even for the rest of us. I'm just kidding. That being said, I don't know if he really broke his tooth here. It did sound like a pop though, and my guess is, I'm not sure, somebody can confirm this or not, or Marlin can confirm this himself. Does he have veneers? I don't know, because it is actually common. Sometimes when you're especially throwing or hitting or biting, sometimes that sound could be the veneer, his front tooth veneer, actually popping off sometimes. Other than that, it could just be a weird sound and he hit himself and he heard it like that, you know. Probably nothing serious is my guess. I don't know. You guys are the ones in the streaming world watching and everything like that. But you know, sometimes, you know, a boy just needs to get nerfed, you know what I'm saying? Because sometimes it's just too unfair of an advantage for us normal men. But further, if it was a veneer that popped off, obviously it is pretty easy. I mean, we've seen this before in celebrities. Obviously Tana Mojo, you know what I'm saying? She's gotten her veneer popped off like 45,000 times, I think, in the past. So she would need to go to a dentist, you know, in the area, and they would just glue it back on there. It probably wouldn't be that big of a deal if it was a veneer that popped off. Although that is why I tell you guys, try not to get veneers and only get Invisalign or braces if your teeth look good and they're the right shape, because then you don't have to worry about veneers popping off all the time. See, exactly. So, bro really just got nerfed by an apple. That's what I'm talking about. Sometimes, you know, we just gotta level the playing field a little bit. You were today years old when you found out that your toothpaste doesn't actually clean your teeth. What? That's actually really interesting, because it's kind of actually partially true and kind of partially false. What they're probably trying to tell you is a lot of things. Yes, the toothpaste isn't the main driver of how you're cleaning your teeth usually, okay? And that's because, well, the bacteria is the problem on your teeth, okay? Strep mutans causes cavities, P. gingivalis causes gum disease, and guess what? They live on this thing called the biofilm on your teeth. And so the mechanical act of brushing is what we do to try and remove the biofilm to help lower that bacteria count until they rebuild it back within 8 to 10 hours, and then you tear it back down again, and then you rebuild it back out, and then you do that every day, twice a day for the rest of your life. Now, we couldn't get rid of those bacteria before, and so the only way we could do it is by strengthening the teeth. So toothpaste was invented with fluoride to actually strengthen the teeth, because there was no way we could get rid of the bacteria of the problem. So our only goal was to either remove the biofilm or make the teeth stronger, and then just let the bugs and the bacteria keep living in your mouth and existing forever and ever. And that's actually changed, because for the first time ever at Something Nice, my company, we actually worked with a biotech company to come up with something called a nanolipid particle. And for the first time ever, we used biotech to specifically engage and attack those bacteria. Strep mutans, which is the main cause of cavities, P. gingivalis, which causes gum disease, and myself actually reduced these levels of these bacteria 99.9% in only 8 days. Now, we've done a double-blind study with the University of Utah, and that's going to be coming out, and the research is going to be coming out in 2026, but you can actually get this now, which is actually insane. So she's actually right when she says that toothpaste at that time didn't really clean your teeth. It was the mechanical act of brushing your teeth was the only thing that was really cleaning them. that is now until ours, because this is the first toothpaste that actually directly attacks the cause of oral disease, which is actually insane. Because for the first time ever, if you're somebody with high loads of these bacteria in your mouth, you can finally do something about them and actually destroy them instead of just removing their home and letting them come back and removing their home and letting them come back and removing their home and letting them come back. This is a really big deal, and I can't wait. I mean, obviously some of you guys are already getting these. We're already seeing the good reviews on them, and so now finally for the first time ever you can get this. It's actually called Biofuse, is the nanolipid technology that we put in this, and it's in our Zero Pro, and it's also in our Halo gum, which is actually crazy. So you can actually chew a piece of this after dinner. I would chew 1 piece a day or 2 pieces a day because it's pretty expensive stuff. It's more like a biotech oral health supplement than a gum per se, but chew 1 piece of this after you eat and get this food out of your gut and start killing the bacteria actually once and for all. It's pretty crazy. And Wes says it doesn't exactly clean, but it does repair damaged enamel and makes plaque easier to get off, which is actually true. And that's why our Zero Pro still has everything that our regular Zero had, the 10% nanohydroxyapatite, the xylitol, and everything else that the old school toothpaste used to do with the new school biotech nanolipid particles that we built, and we're the only oral care company in the world that does it. So it's pretty crazy. But that doesn't mean you still shouldn't brush your teeth, because you have to brush your teeth to get that biofilm off. It's just now you're actually destroying the bacteria. And so instead of the bad bacteria coming back and rebuilding that biofilm every day, now the good bacteria gets to do it and take over. And the bad bacteria, guess what? It stops coming back. It's pretty awesome. All right, when you go to turkey teeth final fitting tomorrow, no, please don't. Okay, first off, when we do these things, I want to stop and I want to see what we're looking at here. So I'm looking at her befores. Her teeth look pretty good at the start. I feel like I don't see anything crazy there. She's got a little bit of crowding on the lower, you know, a little tiny bit of 3 to 6 months of Invisalign could fix something like that. Her upper teeth are beautifully shaped. There's maybe a tiny bit yellow, but that's nothing crazy, okay? So this is like my worst nightmare. Somebody with a good looking smile with good looking teeth, now they're saying they want to go get stuff. So, okay, this is where she was before, and already you're seeing the craziness, okay? This is not a veneer, okay? That much lopped off is a crown. And that's what I try and tell people, okay, what they do. So I'm gonna pause it here where you can see here with all of this stuff, she's smiling and all that type of stuff. Guys, these are crowns. Okay, they have lopped off 50% of every single one of these teeth all the way across her front teeth. Remind you, she had beautiful teeth. She just needed a tiny bit of whitening here. That was it, and it doesn't even look like they've done anything on the lower. So she's literally only doing the only part that I thought was perfect, which was her upper teeth. Now, a normal veneer would very lightly shave off just the top. This is terrible. This is terrible, terrible, and exactly what we've been saying about turkey teeth. This is a bad, bad, bad way of doing it. And you can see just how much tooth structure is gone, and she's never getting that back. And look, oh no, she did do the bottoms, you can tell there, but I mean, guys, from before, looks good, just needs a little bit of whitening, very natural, looks really good. She actually looks like she probably had braces when she was a kid. To that after, I mean, I get it, you want white teeth, but when you get them chunky, crown, white teeth like that, now she has one on every single one of her teeth. She's gonna have to take care of these forever. They're gonna be popping off here and there. She's probably gonna get reinfection in one of them. I mean, 1 out of 32. Like, she did the top, the bottom. It's like, please do not do this. I've been educating you guys for years and years and years, and you still keep falling for this. This is crazy to me. Hopefully people in the comments talk some sense into some people here. Exactly, as a dentist, seeing how beautiful your previous teeth were and how you prepare those bulky and unrealistic crowns broke my heart. So sad. This is probably one of the worst examples of turkey teeth I have ever seen. How a dentist could take somebody with perfect teeth like that and say, hey, I can just give you some Zoom whitening or something for $100, and instead say, no, we're gonna lop off every single one of your teeth and charge you, $10,000, $15,000, and we're gonna ruin them for your life. How can you do that as a dentist? That's crazy. And then Jim said, you had amazing teeth. Why? Your teeth are authentic. They were you. Not only did turkey teeth age you, they just took away from your uniqueness. This is actually really, really sad. And I have probably made a video 10 times on this stuff in general, and it really, really, really saddens me that we have not gotten to a point where people still feel like they need to do this. This girl, of any people in the entire world, had the easiest way out to have perfect, amazing, natural teeth that lasted forever, and she decided to give them all away for just a small thought that they were going to look good, and they don't look that good, okay? And that's terrible. That is terrible, 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 and I'm really, really sad to see that. I don't know, what do you guys, am I overreacting here? Or, I mean, I hate seeing this. All right, let's see if AI is actually right these times. Okay, so this is what happens if you don't brush your teeth.
Changes the way the surface reflects light. Day 3. The film becomes more visible, your smile loses its shine, and and yellowish
Okay, the
tones
plaque
begin
starts to
appear
build
in
up. I
certain
get it.
spots. Day 7, the surface no longer looks smooth. The layer becomes thicker and starts to feel like a rough texture to the touch. Day 14, the area around the teeth changes color, showing reddish
Yep, now we're getting
dark
the inflammation.
tones. The
We're
smile
getting
looks
the
less
issues coming in there. The
uniform,
calculus
much
is now
duller.
causing all the
Day
inflammation.
21, the buildup hardens. The line between the tooth and the gum becomes
Actually, it
harsh
will
and
harden
the
like
shape
within
of the
48
tooth
hours. Doesn't
begins
take
to
21 days. That's when
visually
calculus forms.
Day 30, the lower part of the tooth looks more exposed. Greenish and brown tones.
There you go. You see
appear.
the bone loss happening there
Stability
in the
their
bottom.
Position. Summary: a month without brushing doesn't just ruin your appearance, it can completely transform the visual structure of your smile.
Kind of true and kind of not. The timeline is probably a little quick. I mean, if you don't brush your teeth for 30 days, trust me, it's going to be nasty. You're going to have nasty smell. You're going to have gums that are bleeding. You're going to have all this calculus building up and a lot of bad things starting to occur. Now, you're not going to completely lose all your teeth in 30 days, okay? So this is a little bit of a different, in my timeline, within a couple days, you're already going to have nasty biofilms starting to harden up and turn into calculus. You're going to have a little stankiness. You're going to have everything. By a week, you're going to have puffy red gums. You're going to start to have bleeding. You're going to start to have issues. By 30 days, you're definitely going to start to probably have the start of some cavities happening if you have strep mutans bacteria in your mouth. That's a normal load. And then also, you're going to start to see the signs of some bone loss, early bone loss happening. And if you continue to leave that calculus on there, that's the thing, is that calculus is where that biofilm really resides, and that bacteria stays permanently on that calculus until you get it removed by a dentist. And so that's why month after month after month after month, if you don't get cleanings, then you're going to start to get bone loss even if you brush your teeth and floss all the time. That's why we tell you to go to your cleanings every 6 months to get that calculus off, even if you're brushing good, because to be honest, you're not going to hit everything perfectly. Although I do think this is a good thing, and it is actually pretty accurate as far as what it's saying between things. I think the timeline was a little off, but still, even whether it's AI or real people in general, guess what? You still have to brush your teeth. And you know, I'm totally cool with anybody who's going out of their way to educate people on that. Let's see what people said in the comments. How much did my mom pay you? Guys, trust me, I don't care what your mom says. You should be brushing your teeth for you, not your mom, because trust me, for the rest of your life, you're going to be having those teeth unless you don't have those teeth because you lost them. You know what I'm saying? And someone else said, I didn't brush my teeth in months and nothing happened. That you thought of and you saw. And that's actually interesting because I do see people do that where they don't see anything outwardly because they don't have a ton of strep mutans bacteria, so they're not seeing cavities. Well, they might be getting cavities between their teeth. They just don't quite know yet. But guess what? Underneath that gum tissue, in those places between your teeth you're not seeing, guess what? Your bone is dropping, and eventually you may get these things called black triangles because you have bone loss and all of these things. And guess what? You can tempt fate a couple times, but you do it enough, you're gonna run into her, okay? And that's gonna cause bone loss, teeth loss, cavities, decay, bad breath, all that type of stuff. So trust me, get used to brushing your teeth. Take care of them because they're the last teeth set that you're probably ever gonna have, okay? So let's make sure we're doing a good job there. Okay, you guys tagged me in this oral care routine. She's tongue scraping. Why she smell it like that? Oh no, not the charcoal strips. Those don't do anything. Oh, not the charcoal toothpaste. Guys, come on. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. What are you doing to your face? How did it suds up like that? Why is it... I'm a dentist. Why am I watching a facial routine? But I can't stop watching it. Okay. She put... What the heck am I watching? What do you guys do? Why did you guys make me watch this? It doesn't make any sense why you guys tag me in these videos you do. But I can say one thing, don't use charcoal toothpaste because that black toothpaste you saw her use there, that's charcoal toothpaste. And guess what? That was a big issue and still is today because people don't understand how big of a deal that is, okay? The problem with charcoal toothpaste is it's basically sandpaper in a tube. And if you use sandpaper on your teeth, guess what? It will get rid of that initial stain at first, but it's because it's ripping your enamel off, okay? And harming your teeth, okay? And so eventually you're gonna get that enamel layer so thin that you're gonna start to get a huge sensitivity and all that type of stuff. So if you're trying to whiten your teeth, just use some whitening strips, hydrogen peroxide whitening strips. Don't do this. And also, I would assume you're probably not doing all the other crazy facial stuff. I don't know. Is this a normal thing? I'm a man. I don't do facial routines like this. So maybe some girls in the comments could maybe tell me, is this a real thing? You guys really do this every night? I mean, I have a wife, and trust me, I've seen her do some crazy facial routines, but I've never seen her do this much. This is kind of wild to me. So maybe let me know. And also, stop tagging me in these videos. I don't want to see them. Well, all right, apparently this is how to floss. That is a bunch of gunk between the teeth there, okay? Oh my gosh. Holy moly. Uh-huh. And that's actually really crazy. So, I mean, if you look at it here, they don't go just pop in and out here because you're going to be missing all that stuff up inside. And you can see her slide that floss all the way up over on top of the teeth and down. And so what you're actually getting there is inside the gum pocket, okay? And so when you're flossing up inside there, you're actually getting all of that floss up where you probably normally don't get while brushing and normally flossing, especially if you're just using flossing, you're just popping up and down and up and down. That's actually why we made our floss picks have a little bit of give in here, so you could actually go up, you could pull them to the side and get really up in there and get it on both sides all the way around, because you don't want to be just popping it up and down, especially if you're using floss picks. And so they're actually really correct. This is the exact way to floss. So even though it looks gnarly, it's actually how it's supposed to be done. And guess what? You're probably not doing it if you're cringing right now to this video, because, well, you're probably just popping in and out, and you're probably not getting all of that gum tissue and inside that gum pocket like you're supposed to. Taylor Moore says, might as well just take the tooth with it. I know it looks crazy, and it may even be painful at first because you have a little bit of gum disease in there, and you may be getting a little bit of that gingivitis and stuff, but I promise you it will stop bleeding and will stop getting sensitive over time the more you do this, as that gum tissue strengthens and gets healthier and strengthens up. And that's all I got this week. All right, I'm gonna see you later. Give me the 10 million followers, please. Okay, thanks. Appreciate you. See ya. Nice to know you.